Today we've got a fully capable RC rock crawler truck that comes ready to run, including everything you need like the battery and battery charger, and it's under $200. Today we're driving and checking out what could be the ultimate RC holiday gift. It's the all-new CR12 Tioga Trail Truck. RC trail trucks have become one of the easiest and most convenient ways to get your RC thrills because they look realistic, they're highly capable, they're easy to operate, and they're fun anywhere there's a challenge to climb. And with the CR12, we found this to be just the case. Now when you open up the CR12 box, you'll find the truck inside patiently waiting for you. With it are a 2.4 gigahertz transmitter, a rechargeable 850 milliamp hour Li-ion battery, a USB style battery charger, and 4 AA alkaline batteries included for the transmitter. Literally everything needed to get driving is included. Now with the truck out of the box, we get a good look at its size or scale, which is 12th scale, putting the Tioga at 15.5 inches long and about 8 inches wide. Now this is just a little bit smaller than the popular 1/10 scale size, but not by much. For comparisons, here's the Tioga on the left and the 1/10 scale Element RC Trail Runner on the right. You can see the Tioga is smaller, but not by a huge amount. But when you consider the truck on the right costs twice as much, the Tioga is looking pretty attractive. How you doing? With the looks and styling of the Tioga, it's definitely got an aggressive off-road truck look to it. With the body, it's a two-piece design with a Lexan front cab and hard plastic rear bed cage. The front cab comes painted in this blue, black, and white paint scheme with a full grille and headlight decal treatment, side blinkers, Tioga branding, and door handles. Underneath the doors are hard plastic running boards, but those are actually attached to the chassis. Then finally, to finish the cab looks, each window has a blacked out decal with silver trim. Now if you want to add more decals, you totally can, because included with this Tioga is a second decal sheet that's brand new and uncut for you to add more decals. Now one super cool feature on the Tioga is how you access the chassis. To remove the body, you just pull these two body clips in the front and the entire body and cage assembly swings all the way back, giving you wide open access to the chassis for changing batteries, performing maintenance, or whatever is needed. Now with the body off, we get our first good look at the inside layout of this trail truck chassis and all of the included electronics. Now first up, mounted at the nose of the chassis, is the steering servo, and it is a Reedy 0415 digital servo with a servo saver on it. Next is the included 2S Li-ion battery with 850 milliamp hours of capacity. Now depending on the conditions and how hard you drive the Tioga, that included battery could provide from 30 minutes up to an hour of runtime. And then to make that battery work in the Tioga, it's equipped with a T-style connector. Next down the line is the ESC, or Electronic Speed Controller, which is the Reedy SC400 brushed ESC, also with a T-style connector. Now this ESC is compatible with 2S and 3S Li-ion batteries, but it can also work with a 2S or 3S LiPo battery, which is something that we used later on with success, but we'll talk about that later. For the motor power, the Tioga is equipped with a 380 sized Reedy brushed crawler motor, and with it, the Tioga has smooth power for the rocks and a top speed around a walking pace. For the transmitter included, it is the XP120. It has steering and throttle trims as well as reversing, uses those 4 AA batteries that were included, and is a pretty nice controller to be included with a ready to run. And then for the receiver in the Tioga, it's the XPR4. It's 3 channels and I don't think it's waterproof, so don't get it wet. Lastly, for the included electronics, the Tioga is equipped with LED lighting with 2 LEDs installed into the front bumper. These lights turn on and off when the truck turns on and off and provide some impressive light. Now we ended up driving in the daytime and didn't really take advantage of that LED lighting, but we did get this one sweet shot. Oh yeah, there we go. Out on the trail, the Tioga does a great job at pushing forward thanks to its use of solid front and rear axles that internally feature solid differentials, providing all the time four-wheel drive performance over the terrain. The axles use a multi-piece design which allows you to easily replace parts if something should break, which is a lot easier than replacing the entire axle housing. In the rear axles, solid metal shafts are used internally, and then in the front axle, you'll find the use of proper steel CVAs, which is a bit of an upgrade over the typical dog bones often found on ready-to-run trucks. These CVAs also provide a healthy amount of steering throw, which was properly supported by the servo, other than a few extreme situations where the servo saver absorbed our intentions. But more times than not, the servo handled our journey with no problem, but we might still consider upgrading the servo down the road, especially if we upgrade to heavier, grippier tires and wheels. And upgrading to different tires and wheels is one of the coolest aspects about the Tioga, because it is smaller, 1/12 scale, but it does use 1.9 wheels on here with a 12mm hex. So upgrading to different tires and wheels is really easy if you want to, but you certainly don't have to. Now, the stock rubber tires aren't bad, and they're glued onto these black plastic wheels to get the job done. Inside the tires, they don't use a foam, so the tires are squishy, and in certain situations, the rear tires didn't have quite the pushback needed to find traction in really challenging terrain. But these were the rare situations, and with an easy tire swap, performance could be improved. Now, for example, these are the tires and wheels off of the Element RC Trail Runner. They're a smaller diameter 1.9 tire, but that's what the Tioga needs, and they not only look great, but they would also perform great too. Now, for our driving, we just left the stock tires on the Tioga to get that out-of-the-box experience, and there's no complaints, we still had a great time. Now, because the Tioga is designed to be a competent crawler, it features a 4-link suspension setup in both the front and the rear. These links are metal, and they're notched to easily make adjustments. Up front for the steering, the top link is again metal, and the bottom link is plastic. For our drive shafts, they're the plastic telescoping type, secured at the center to our 3-gear transmission to then transfer power to each axle. Now, one thing we haven't talked about are the Tioga shocks, which are mainly made from plastic, but they're a bladder type shock, and inside they actually have little rubber bladders. The shocks also feature a threaded shock body and spring adjuster nut, and are impressively smooth on the rocks, providing a good amount of suspension flex on the terrain. The shock towers even have different mounting points if you want to adjust your shock angle. Now, we don't have any complaints about the shocks, and they haven't leaked on us at all, but we did notice when the truck was brand new and we took it out of the box that a few of the shocks were assembled with not quite enough fluid, so we just opened up the shock and topped it off. Now, we mentioned earlier about using a LiPo battery inside the Tioga, and you certainly can, and it's a great way to add a little bit more runtime with a higher capacity battery, and it's also a great way to add a little extra weight over the front axle for improved climbing performance. Now, what we tried was this ProTech 3S 1800 milliamp hour LiPo battery, and then we had to add this Venom adapter to it to make the XT60 connector on the battery compatible with the T-style inside the Tioga. Now, this ProTech battery is obviously bigger, and if you put it on a scale, the larger ProTech LiPo is over twice the weight of the Tioga's Li-ion battery. Now, there is one little downside to using a LiPo inside the Tioga, and that is essentially that the included charger with the Tioga is only compatible with the Li-ion type of batteries. It is not compatible to charge a LiPo, so in order to use a LiPo, you'll also need a LiPo compatible battery charger. But if you're really into RC, it's a worthy investment. Overall, the Tioga has been really impressive for us in terms of its styling and looks and its performance. And the absolute best part about the Tioga is that it only costs $185, which opens up a trail truck for those who are trying to get a proper truck that's not a micro and still big, yet affordable. And the Tioga has a lot of upgrade potential for the capabilities of the truck to keep up with the advancing skills of the user, making the Tioga excellent for first-time RCers and an excellent RC gift. Guys, you can check out the Team Associated CR12 Tioga by following our links down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you did, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave us any questions or comments down below. I'm Brett from AMain Hobbies. Thanks for watching.